Okay, now I want to talk a little bit about mouse food. I thought I could zoom this out just a bit. This is what Sheaffer, who is a maybe almost 2-week-old baby mouse, is taking the easiest out of the foods I've tried. Beech nut, whole grain oatmeal, and it's an instant baby cereal that looks like this. It's wonderful. It's a wonderful product. If you have children, I'd be buying this all the time. It's fully cooked. It's whole grain. You add water, or in the case of babies, you can add either milk or breast milk. But now, that brings up a point. Several sites are saying that mice are lactose intolerant, except for their own mother's milk. So don't add milk if you're going to give this to a mouse. I've been adding water. So that, I make that into a very, very liquid gruel, like a gruel. More watery than a porridge. So that's what I've been doing, and then using syringes to, at the beginning, I didn't want to force anything into his mouth, and I still don't do that. I use the tip of a syringe to pry his mouth open a little bit. I put a little bit in there, and then he swallows it. These are Gatorade lids. The one on the right is his water cup. They're about maybe a ½ inch tall. Now, what is on the left is the KT Fortidiet Pro Health mouse, rat, hamster food. And this is why I want to bring this up. Now, Fortidiet, KT Fortidiet is a great product. I used it a lot for all of the birds. So I know the food is good. When you read the back of the label, they have everything in it that a mouse would need. Now, I want to show you perspective. So I've been giving him a very watery oatmeal, or rice, or carrots. Other baby foods are arriving today, and I can try those and see if he likes them. Now this is here. This is a Zippo lighter box for the length. That box is about 3½ inches long, and that is the average length of an adult white-footed mouse, only it would be about that narrow. So that's how long a mouse is. And these pellets do equal 1 teaspoon. So each mouse would get 1 pellet per day. Now, what I did with this is a pellet that I soaked it in water. So this is how I'm going to have to wean Sheaffer. I go from the oatmeal gruel. This is a softened pellet that I have ground. Let me just see if I can put this down. And I will add this to the oatmeal and still keep it as more or less a gruel. You see how that's perfect. And then what I'm going to do is have that get less and less watery until he's walking over to his dish and eating this as soft food, and then finally just eating the pellet. So those are the steps I'm going to have to go to. Now I remember from Jumper and his mother, they both love plums. So I'm going to cut this plum up in with slices, and even though he's so young, I'm going to put a little slice of plum into his container. And this is not only for texture and him exploring the environment, it's for garbage outside, what people throw away. They throw away old bread. They throw away old oatmeal. I hate oatmeal. It would be in my garbage. And if you get a bag of apples or something and you can't eat them all, they go in the garbage. So you have to look at it from a mouse's point of view. Now, I want to show you the scale of what we're dealing with with a baby mouse and why you have to take the steps to have the correct type of food. If you do a search on weaning mice, you'll come up to the Rat and Mouse Fancy Breeders Association. They have a lot of information on there, but you have to keep in mind they're looking at it for show mice or show rats. And I think, well, I could cook everything. I don't think I'm going to match what they've got in Fortidiet. Because it softens up this well, I'll be able to use that. But the beech nut oatmeal is really what a baby mouse needs. I think, that texture. So let's get this guy. You saw how big a full-grown mouse is. If I can pick him up, he's getting a little squirmy. Where'd he go? He usually grabs right onto my glove. But now he's squirming all over the place. I just want to put him down among all these things. Whoops, without dropping him on his head, to show you the size we're talking about. So I just woke him up, and he has gotten a little bit thin. He's been in the water again. He's soaking wet. He does walk better than this. I just woke him up. He's been sitting up better. But you see the size? Now that pellet that's softened in this dish is almost as big as he is. So when you're dealing with baby mice, this is why you go through the steps of oatmeal and then adding a soft gruel with other foods in it, and finally getting to mouse pellets. Now, because he's so curious as far as getting into containers and stuff and sitting in water dishes, I have to be careful he doesn't walk right off this tray. And once his eyes are open, this squirminess, he's going to be running away from me. Oh, I dropped him twice. I think he's fine. Normally, he goes right into my hand. And this is, I think, he's getting older. And he is wandering around. So, I'm sorry I've dropped you twice. And now he'll calm down because he does think these white cotton gloves are like his mother. But I don't have him secure right now because he's headed up my arm. So it's going to get interesting, is what I'm saying. But for perspective, you can now see, and he is tired. He's tired. I've had him up quite a bit and been feeding him. I'm waiting for his eyes to open, because then, and what I did yesterday, without dropping him, was take him and put him next. I got cut off. My camera battery is low. I had put him next to the dishes and put his mouth on some of the gruel type food to give him an idea that he can eat. Now, so in between my camera not working and now it's working again, I put him back in the container. I put him over here. And then he went all the way down here. This is a tube. He happens to like the tube now. He went behind the newspaper. He came out on the wood block. He went under the ring. And twice he's gotten a drink of water from the water dish without falling in. What he also did before he fell asleep was start sniffing this. And this is that KT Fortidiet softened pellet. So with that, and if I put a piece of plum in there, what I'm giving him are possible foods. So he's still on a syringe and very watery food, but these are in here now so that he can explore, and then he can decide when he's ready to eat that. But you have to throw it away every day. And I have to change the newspaper because he spilled the water a couple of times. Now you can, this is how he sleeps. He wanders around, he explores, and then he falls asleep. What he did, the 2 times he took a drink of water from the dish, he did not fall in. So he's just very young and he's learning things very slowly. But the KT Forta diet, the oatmeal, whole pieces of fruit, and then today the other baby foods that are coming are, I think, a rice cereal, bananas, and what else? Vegetables. So it's a long process, is what I've been saying with these several videos. And I think because of that, I'll probably do updates if and when he gets bigger. But I think I've covered the basics. If you have to hand feed an orphaned mouse, you've got what we've gone through, and then you've got containers and food.